Hey friends, I'm back with another Appliqué Sweatshirt. This time it's the word cozy. I can't think of a better word for this time of the year, and I'm going to show you how to make it. Things you're going to need for this are a sweatshirt. You're going to need paper, a ruler, a pencil, and some tape for your pattern, which we've already made in part 1. But you're going to need a heat marker or a heat erase pen. You're going to need some spray adhesive and some pins. Going to need your fabric. I use flannel, cotton, and some batting there. And you're also going to need your scissors. I use some nippers and a regular pair of scissors. The first thing I'm going to do is take two 8.5 by 11 pieces of copy paper, and I'm going to tape them together landscape style and turn it over. Now I'm going to take my ruler and I'm going to mark a 1/2 inch from the left hand side of the page and just draw that line from the top to bottom. Now from that 1/2 inch mark, I'm going to make a tick mark at 12 inches away from that, make a line, and then draw a line from top to bottom, just like before. And then from that 12-inch line, I'm going to mark another 1/2 inch line, and I'm going to draw another line from top to bottom from there. And then I'm just going to cut that out. Now I'm going to fold the paper in half, hot dog style, and mark the middle with my ruler and pencil. I want my letters to be no taller than 7 inches, so I'm just marking that out here on the paper, and then I'm also going to draw lines to keep me inside of the lines whenever we get ready to do the letters. Now I'm going to fold it in half, hamburger style. I'm going to mark my middle, and I'm also going to come into the inside of the outside lines and draw another 1/2 inch and draw those lines on the paper. This again is just as a guide for the letters. And now I'm just drawing basic letters with the C and the O. You can see I'm staying on that inside line, just drawing basic letters here. And now you can see I'm going to use that border that we drew before, and I'm going to draw to the outside and to the inside of each letter, making it fatter and bulkier than it was before. Sort of like bubble letters, but without the rounded edges. And now you can see I'm just going in here and Xing off all of the places that need to be cut out. And now I'm just taking a Sharpie and outlining the entire thing so that you can see how this is going to work. I understand it's probably hard for you to see with just pencil, so I outlined it in Sharpie. And now I'm just taking my scissors and I'm cutting around the outside, and now I'm cutting around the inside, making sure to just cut out all of the spots we marked previously with X's, and this will be the applique that you can use to applique onto your shirt. And here it is, the word cozy, all in one piece. So we already made our pattern, and now you're going to need to cut out a piece of batting, a front piece, and a back piece large enough to fit your pattern. And here I've used a piece of flannel and some batting and then a backing piece for mine. And I'm just going to take some spray adhesive, temporary spray adhesive, and spray all of these layers together. Once you've done that, you're going to lay your pattern on top of your fabric. Now you're going to need your heat marker or your fabric pen, and you can trace over top of this. The fabric that I use is not going to be able to see through on this side, so I'm going to flip mine over to the back side, which is just white. And then I'm going to lay my pattern down, but you can't just lay your pattern down like that this way because it will turn out wrong. You have to turn it upside down. You have to mirror that image. So that's what I did here, and I'm going to trace it here. Now I'm going to take my heat erase marker and draw on the inside of all of the letters just so that we can see it when we take it to the sewing machine where we need to sew on the fabric at. Now here I am at the sewing machine. I've got my needle lined up with the inside line of our letters, and I'm just taking my time and sewing around the inside of those letters where we've marked. It's not going to be perfect, but take your time. And here's what it looks like. It's not perfect, but I promise once we get done with it, it will look fine. So I'm just going to take my scissors and we're going to cut on the outside line that we drew all the way around it like here. Then I'm going to lay my pattern back down, and I'm going to go back in and mark with X's on the spots that need to be cut out. Because when I'm looking at the white side of the fabric, that together is hard for me to tell. So I marked those out so that I could kind of tell. And I'm just going to take my time and cut around the outside lines where we drew our lines at. And this part is a little time consuming, but just take your time and go around it. Now that we've got the entire thing cut out, we're going to take our nippers or a regular pair of scissors, and you're going to start snipping around the edges and on the inside, almost all the way up to your stitches. You can see I'm cutting little slits about 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch apart. I'm not cutting my stitches. If you do, it's okay. You can take it to your sewing machine and put a stitch back in, but you're going to do that around the entire thing, just like this. You can see that I've got all of the edges snipped. I've decided to put mine on a sweatshirt. You can see that I've already pressed a seam in the middle here just as a guide, and I usually come 3 to 4 fingers down from the collar there, but this has an X in it, so I'm going to use that as my guide. And now I'm just going to lay my applique out here just to make sure that everything fits nice where I want it to. And then I'm going to take my temporary spray adhesive and I'm going to spray the back of it. I'm just going to lay a piece of paper down underneath this and turn it over and spray on top of that so it doesn't spray everywhere. And now I'm going to lay my applique back onto the sweatshirt and just press everything down. Then I'm going to pin it in place on the front and the sides to the front of the sweatshirt only. And now here I am at the sewing machine. You can see I've lined my needle up with that inside line that we previously sewed on, and I'm just going to do the same thing as before. I'm going to go over those lines and sew everything down to the sweatshirt. Once you're finished, you want to trim all of your threads on the outside and also on the inside of your sweatshirt. Make sure you clip all those off. And then here it is, and now it just needs to be washed. And I put it in the washing machine and dried it up, and here it is. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll see you the next time.